And joining us now here on the program, pleased to have with us Kevin Meyer. He is a Cenex technical product representative. We're here to talk about getting that equipment ready as we get spring planting season underway here in the weeks ahead. Kevin, thanks for joining us today. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's dive right in and talk first as we, start to pull some of that equipment out of the shed. I know a lot of maintenance going on right now with farmers gearing up for spring planting season, or they may have already started in some areas of the country down south. But as you look at getting our equipment ready, let's first talk about the importance of prepping that farm equipment and the lubricants that go into that equipment. What are some things you would highlight there, talking about the importance of that, Kevin?
Yeah, great question. I think, like you mentioned, preventive maintenance is a really important thing just to do in general. Making sure the equipment is clean, replacing parts or things that are needed. Last thing you want to do is have that equipment break down in the field when it's needed most. And with that comes, using good quality lubricants, changing the oil out if it's needed, if it hasn't been done already, greasing up the equipment, the components that need to be greased with a good quality grease. Those are very important factors, and using good quality lubricants are very important with that. There are unfortunately some poor quality lubricants, poor quality greases that are out there, and unfortunately those may not hold up to these extended drains that we're starting to see out in the field today. 500, 600 hours on the engine, and so you want to have a good lubricant, good grease that has that additive package and base oil that can hold up to those drain intervals that we're seeing.
Well, and thinking about some of those different greases and just the different lubricants in general, and you mentioned that there's some not so good quality lubricants out there. So, what are some tips? What are some things that folks need to remember with that lubricant selection if they're looking to get a few different products here this time of year?
Yeah, I think a big thing is kind of looking for the specifications that are required by the OEM, by the equipment manufacturers that are out there. All OEMs will kind of have a specification that they're looking for, and a good quality lubricant will meet those specifications. And in many cases, like with our Cenex products, kind of exceed those specifications. So looking for those specs, looking for something that a company that has a good reputable source. I think there's also looking into synthetics or semi-synthetic fluids. We're having some smaller reservoirs, longer hours, tighter tolerances, and so you want to make sure that you're using these premium lubricants. And a semi-synthetic or full synthetic can really kind of go that extra mile, go that extra hour compared to conventional counterparts.
Well, we don't obviously don't want to see breakdowns in the field. If farmers do happen to have a breakdown of some kind in the field and it's, related to maybe not having proper lubrication or something happens, any advice for farmers if they're trying to manage things, in the field on the fly during a busy spring planting time frame?
Yeah, I think it's really tough when something goes out in the field. I think it's hard to kind of come back from that if there is an issue. So I think the big thing to focus on is really kind of putting that quality lubricant in before that equipment gets out into the field. I think
Mhm.
once you have that breakdown, it's already unfortunately a little bit too late. So kind of using quality lubricants throughout the year, whenever that equipment is in use, can really kind of give that protection and prevent that breakdown from occurring in the first place.
Well, good thoughts there, Kevin. And I know, of course, if folks need advice, they need help, they could reach out to a product representative with Cenex, such as yourself. Stop by their local Cenex location and get more information and figure out some of the different things that they may need in their equipment, can't they?
Exactly. Yeah. Either going to the local co-op, we have a lot of very qualified representatives going to our Cenex.com website, or of course, reaching out to technical services as well. We have a full team ready to answer any questions and help solve any problems farmers might have.
Kevin, any other final thoughts, any other final tips you would share with farmers, or anything you want to reiterate as we get ready for spring planting?
Yeah, just doing that preventive maintenance, putting the good quality lubricants and greases in there, and just making sure that equipment is maintained. Because I think unfortunately when equipment breaks down, bills are only getting more expensive, year after year. So you want to kind of prevent that from happening in the first place.
Well, great thoughts to consider, and we appreciate the time today with that. Kevin Meyer, Cenex Technical Product Representative. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.